YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. So I'm back with another interesting reaction video for you guys. This one comes from Mackie. So he said something about the American male masculinity, and he got a little bit of backlash from it, but I'm gonna go ahead and play what he had to say, and I definitely want to get y'all thoughts on it. But before we do, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you like the content, also share and like the video and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what he had to say. Here we go.
Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I don't give a I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tell the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another.
Now, let me just pause it there. Do you guys agree or disagree with what he's saying? I definitely agree with what he's saying because we see it happening. He said for one reason or another, but one of the reasons we know for sure that it's happening because there are no fathers in the home. And it's not simply just because all of the men just walked out. It's because they were never there to begin with. You know, we got to start looking at the whole of a thing and not just pick and choose the parts we want to address, but acknowledge every aspect of how we get to these points or these situations. Yes, there are fathers who walked away from their families, but there are also women who have created a situation where there was never a father there. A lot of these women have decided that they wanted to have sex with random men who they'd never been in a relationship with, men who were never intended on being in their lives, and they didn't intend for the man to be in their lives either. They were just out hooking up, having a good time. How many videos do we see of women talking about hooking up with their sneaky links and they end up pregnant? Now, do you really expect that sneaky link, somebody who you don't know, probably don't know their last name, know nothing about them, but you decided that you want to go out and have sex with somebody you barely knew, and then you pop up pregnant? First, you decide to keep the child. You didn't do any prevention in putting anything in place from stopping you from getting pregnant from a stranger. Women have a choice, your body, your choice. So you can take that whichever way you want to take it. There are many different contraceptives to stop you from having a baby. So that's it on your part. That's the part where a lot of women fail. On the male part of it, you should not be going out here having raw, unprotected sex with a stranger, knowing that she could have a baby and that would be your child. And knowing if you're not ready to take care of a child and have a family, then you shouldn't be out there raw dogging, period. So it's a responsibility on both sides. So both have to be accountable, not just the man. The woman and the man are equally as responsible. So you both have to do things to prevent something that you ultimately say you don't want. And you can't assume as the woman that a man that you don't know is just all of a sudden going to be a family with you because you're pregnant. It doesn't work like that. Because of that, a lot of women like to portray men as the losers and the ones who walked away, but not really focusing on the real problem here of how these children are being raised without fathers because of the choices y'all both made. So you're equally as responsible. So if you decide to bring a child into a broken situation without a father there because you didn't prioritize a man, you didn't prioritize having a child, marrying before you carry, you didn't prioritize a relationship before having sex and making a baby, and you decide to keep it. So now this child is being raised in a single parent household where that is not going to yield the best outcomes. So a lot of these children are being raised, especially these young men, are raised by women, and they're coming out with these less masculine attitudes because they're missing their fathers. So that's one aspect of it. The fathers are not there. And so the outcome of these young men is quite different versus a man being in the household or them being raised by a man. There is a distinct difference. But now women are calling these men sassy and they're not like they used to because they don't have fathers. And it's not all on the man, but it's on both parties. And a lot of women don't still understand the importance of having fathers in the household, and they're still out here thinking that they can raise a child by themselves. So the accountability is on women too. Because it's your body, your choice. And you make the choice to go out here and have sex with men that you know probably don't want to be fathers and probably really don't want you. So how in the world is he going to create a family with somebody he don't want to be with and it's just a hookup and you probably don't want to be with him? So let's be honest about it. That's all. But let's continue.
I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that.
Right.
But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing.
Exactly.
You can have all the celebrity in the world,
right.
Jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Listen, no lies detected. I mean, I agree with what he's saying, and I think a lot of that is belittled or looked over. You know what I mean? Because we live in a society where women can say, hey, I want a baby, but I don't want marriage, or I don't, you know, I'm not really trying to build a real family, but I could get a child because I want a child, and that's what I want, and that's what I'm going to do. And we already see that we have a single mother epidemic. We have way more single mothers than we do, you know, husbands and wives and nuclear families, you know, because more and more women are more inclined to lean in toward this hookup culture, and they don't see anything wrong with having stable relationships. Half of them don't even want a relationship. They don't think a relationship is worth anything anymore, and they would rather be single, but they're still hooking up, having sex, and making babies. Thought it was cool and thought it was going to be okay to make these these children are real life human beings. They need nurturing. They need guidance. They need structure. They need all of the things that are required from two parents. The same way it takes two to make it, it takes two to raise it. And I think once people realize the seriousness of this and how this is not something just to be played with, they'll start moving differently and moving accordingly. You have to have two stable parents in order to raise a stable child. And a lot of these parents are understanding this when these young men become teenagers, and then they're talking about, oh, they're becoming too strong and they're bigger than me and I can't handle them. And now you want to give them away, or you want to put them in the system. Call the police on them, or try to have them taken away because you can't handle them. These kids need fathers. So instead of going out here just making babies randomly, raising them by yourself, thinking that these kids are going to be fully mentally stable, it's just asinine to me. And so it's just something to think about. And, you know, I know I went on a tangent, but I just wish we could do better. You know, we have a lot of good people in our community, but a lot of us are just misguided because of our upbringing, because of the misinformation, because of the mentality. And I wish we could do better, and that people will start to understand the most important ways to get to a better future, and to have a better future for our race of people and our communities. We have to start with the nuclear family. We have to get that right. We have to understand how important it is to have stable parents, how we can become stable parents, how we can build stable children to become stable parents and continue the cycle. But if we don't, we're just going down a road of disastrous behavior and outcomes. And I really don't want that for our communities. I have children coming up behind us, and I want better for my children as well. You know what I mean? I want them to have suitable wives that they can marry. My sons and my daughters have suitable black men out here that they can marry and build families and generational wealth as well. But if we don't continue to teach that, and we still have this divided community, child, it's gonna look real horrible for us. I'm just saying. So listen, I definitely agree with what Anthony Mackie said, and I think we need to start to have more masculinity in the household, in our children, how to raise our sons, how to be men and be strong men. We got to have strong fathers, and we got to have strong mothers. We got to have the nuclear family in order to do that. Women can't think that they can just raise these men to be these type of men by themselves. You need to pick better, get with men who want to be husbands and fathers, and who want to build with a woman, and a woman who wants to be with a man, and put all this petty BS behind. We got to focus on the goal, not the petty BS, but the goal of where we're trying to go. And if many people don't understand that, then it's a reason why they choose the way they do, and it's just going to be where it is. And there's only going to be a few of us, like it is now, who are actually achieving the things that others would like to achieve, but they don't want to go about it the right ways in order to get what they say they want. So listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Y'all know what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.